welcome. It's Dorian here. This game will be Rampage Week 5, Game 3. So at this point, Dignitas and Fnatic, the teams in this version of Rampage, are Week 5. And at this point in this series, it is 1-1. And in the Rampage series, the bans are a little bit different. You get 4 bans rather than just the regular 2, or sometimes 3 in other tournaments. There will be no audio for this game as well, too, as this will be a recast for me. I will be recasting this. Rampage had their own version. The audio was a little bit off on that one, so I decided I'd make my own for this one as well. I think Dyrus might have been about a minute or so ahead of the other caster. As far as lineups go, actually, first we'll talk about the bans before anything gets into it. Bans for Dignitas were Kassadin, Sion, Xerath, and Lee Sin. And the bans for Fnatic were Zillion, Udyr, Ryze, and Akali. So Fnatic kind of trying to focus its bans on Voyboy and obviously the Zillion, which is pretty common in the North American meta. And it looks to be for Dignitas, they were focusing all their bans on XPK, Peke, whatever you want to call him, or even Shushui for that matter, but they're both AP players, so. For early game here, a lot of times you're going to see teams try to mix it up and try and get some early game stuff going on, but it looks for this game that's not something that they're going to be doing. So you see Voyboy sitting up top while the rest of his 4 teammates are helping Jat. That is blue. You'll see this a lot now lately as well too for junglers. If you want to help your jungler out, almost everybody's doing this in solo queue as well now too. They're going to pull the wolves, and you can do damage to the wolves after. And it helps out his jungling pattern, and it makes everything go a lot faster. The reason why it helps, and the reason what this will do for you, is for helping the jungler, is that he'll be able to get faster ganks, he'll be able to clear the jungle faster. And unfortunately, Jat's blue kind of reset there a little bit, so I'm a cutie pie has to come back in and help him. Maybe. As for top, we've got Warwick against Rumble. Be interesting to see how that lane will work out. And bottom, we have Fnatic playing Graves and Soraka versus... Graves and Sona, versus Soraka and Kog'Maw. Right now, with the way that the games are going to be working that I'm going to be commentating for the high level, right now I don't have a version of spectator mode, or I don't have a tournament client. So I'm just going to try and get my foot in the door this way by watching and recording over high-level games. And I thought this would be a great game as well, too, because you don't normally get to see games like this unless they're for huge tournaments like ESL or IEM or anything like that. So this is 2 really great teams playing in an online tournament. And before you kind of get into anything team fight-wise, because the laning phase here is a little bit boring, it's just going to see teams trying to CS back and forth, is that it's great to see these 2 teams playing against each other, but one of the things that is going to be very obvious is that one team is going to have a pretty significant ping disadvantage. So the one thing that I really like to see in the future is that we can try to eliminate that through... I'm not too sure how that would even be possible, but I'm pretty sure this may have been played on the North American servers, not the actual servers, but tournament servers. The only reason why I say that is because I remember them saying something about the European tournament client being down. So, but as far as gold-wise goes, you'll notice that both the teams are almost identical formats in the game. We haven't seen any ganks yet, And it looks like Jat is currently in the enemy jungle while the Gangplank is doing his double golems. For right now, it looks as if Graves is just completely smashing on the Kog'Maw bottom. Graves is at 31, the Kog'Maw only at 19. As far as Voyboy versus the Warwick, Voyboy sitting at 21 and Warwick only at 19. So top going somewhat okay for Voyboy. Well, the only difference being that Warwick will have sustain, whereas Voyboy will have his shield to kind of sustain himself. Right now, middle kind of at a stalemate because realistically both these two characters are very hard to gank, very hard to kill as Morgana has her shield. And Swain gets higher levels, obviously, with his ultimate, makes it harder for him to kill, as well as he's got the root and the stun as well. With the Nevermore, or the Never Move, whatever you want to call it, whatever it's supposed to be called. I remember Freak and somebody else. So here we go, we got Jack coming in for a gank here. No, nothing's going to come from it, though. It seemed almost as if he wanted to flash, but I'm pretty sure he realized how overextended they would have been, and they probably wouldn't be able to pick up the kill that deep into the enemy territory. So you'll notice that the purple team here is pulling a little bit ahead in gold, not too much, only like 4K ahead. And CS-wise, oh, here we go. Voyboy getting dangerously low up top here, and decides just to head back. Jat wasn't going to come in and help. We've got a gang coming out bottom here. Scar getting a nice ultimate on Melisande, and that's first blood for Scar. So I think they all got assists. Yeah, so Soraka and Kog'Maw got the assists there, so they'll all be a little bit more ahead as well now. Let's see. As far as wards go, you're not seeing very many wards this game that I can see. I mean, the one ward bottom and Tribush there, but right now, 7 minutes into the game, I only see the one ward. Now with getting that first blood, the gold advantage has gone up that much more. And you can see CS-wise, somehow Jat in the jungle is 10 ahead of the Gangplank, so I think at some point down the road the Gangplank was having a hard time doing his jungle. So we can see in the inventory that both of the supports do have wards now. Gangplank also has a ward in his inventory. Seems that Voyboy is going for the revolver build first, and Warwick hasn't even had to go back to base yet, which is the same thing you could say for Shushwei middle as Swain. He hasn't gone back to base yet. But as far as the battle that was going on bottom, Graves is still keeping his lead CS-wise ahead of the Kog'Maw. Why is that guy's name Pocus? I'm pretty sure, isn't it Cutie Pie? It's got to be Cutie Pie. So it seems as if at some point there, Skara... Oh yeah, I see what they're doing here. Okay, never mind. Skara, them picked up their blue buff, and then they went in to do the invade to steal the enemy blue, which is going to be quite troublesome for the Swain for the next 5 to 6 minutes, because now Morgana... It's no problem fighting against Morgana with blue buff if you have a blue buff. But if you don't have a blue buff in return to kind of combat the lane pushing and all that comes with it, being overextended, pushing towers, all that kind of mumbo-jumbo, it becomes a problem and you'll stay farther behind. So I think Shushwei right now sitting at 64, 12 or 11 behind Skara's Morgana. So middle is not incredibly being one-sided or anything like that, but now that Morgana has picked up the blue, you'll notice that her CS will start to get a little bit higher as well. Right now, no ganks look to be coming. We've got both junglers just doing their jungle thing. Rammus doing the red, And as far as CS-wise, the Gangplank is still losing quite handily to Jat's Rammus. So just kind of goes to show that Rammus is survivable. And even though he is one of the slower junglers, as far as killing wise, okay, hold on, we got a gank coming in here on XPK. We've got Scar coming in. Oh, sorry, Jat coming in, and he misses his thing, but he finally gets the taunt off. Voyboy drops his ultimate, and there we go. Now it's 2-0 for Dignitas. And I would expect to see them try and do a dragon pretty quickly at some point here. Their Graves down here is rather low, and they've been pushed their tower for a while, so it gives them quite a good advantage to try and get it done. You can see Jat and Scar look like they're kind of setting up for it. Yep, it looks as if they're going for it. They know for sure that whoever was top, the Warwick XPK, is going to have to go back to top right away. Otherwise, that tower is going to get pushed. So now they're taking that advantage, and they're going to use it to pick up the first dragon of the game. So you'll see right now that they're about 3k ahead of gold advantage. So right now, just kind of goes to show on paper how far ahead you do get with the first blood and just a single dragon kill. Because right now you'll notice that neither team has got a tower yet, so no gold will come from that. And realistically, CS-wise, top is basically at a deadlock, middle winning only by 10, which is Scar winning barely by 10. And the difference in gold for CS-wise more or less comes from Kog'Maw barely coming out of nowhere to overtake the Graves as far as CS is for the ADs. And it's just the only real story for CS-wise is going to be that Rammus is out farming this GP. And this GP is not having a very fun time. It looks like GP is trying to come in here for the gank on Voyboy. This, I find, probably is the best way to gank now because of just the way the wards are and where wards are going to be every game in solo queue or even competitive games for that matter. I think the moment Voyboy goes any farther than where he is right now, and he's going to get ulted and ulted. He's going to get infinite duress, and then he's going to get barraged or whatever. So it seems like they might know that he's up there, but I don't think they do. Here we go. We've got a nice gank coming in here. We've got the ult from Gangplank. Jat comes in, gets the taunt off, but it seems like it might have been just a second too late. And Voyboy goes down, but Jat comes in and picks up the kill on the Warwick. So 1-for-1 trade there. Seemed as if the fight went more or less in favor of Fnatic for the early part. If Warwick did somehow manage to get away, that might have been able to turn the game around a little bit gold-wise. The advantage might have been a little bit better.